hope that you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today, where we're going to explore in the autumn woods. And one of the things I love about this time of year is the abundance of leaves carpeting the floor of the woods. And here's a close-up of some of our leaves. I just want to take a couple minutes to show you some of the leaves that we have in our wood and some ways to identify some of the leaves that you might find. So we are going to start right here, and our woods has two types of oak trees. We have Burr Oaks and we have red oaks. So let's take a minute and find some of our oak leaves and talk about them. So I've moved us over on our deck, and you can see the two types of oak leaves here. This is a Burr Oak and this is a red oak. And these are good examples of each of these type of leaves. The Burr Oak is a more rounded leaf. You have rounded curves and it's got a large rounded top to it. The red oak, and this one's nice because it's actually got a red color. So the red oak leaf is more pointed. You have pointed tips and it looks a lot more angular than the more rounded Burr Oak. Now we're going to run out along the road and take a look at two of my favorite trees. Generally, in our area, the aspen is one of the first trees that drops its leaves. And I just want to show you what the leaf of the trembling aspen will look like. So here is a really good example. Generally, it's going to be a yellow color, although this year some of them went more into pinks and peaches. The base of the leaf is broad. It goes outward and then comes to a point at the top. We are in the same area as a lot of the trembling aspen, but I did manage to find a paper birch leaf here. So if you compare it to the trembling aspen leaf next to it, let's get a bigger one. There you go. We can do a good comparison of the two leaves here. As we mentioned, the trembling aspen has a broad base. It's a broad leaf, and it comes to a point at the top. The paper birch leaf doesn't get as broad as the aspen. So while the aspen leaf goes wider at the bottom, the paper birch starts tapering right away. Its edges are serrated. We can even lay that paper birch right on top of the aspen leaf, and you can see how much wider the aspen leaf is than the paper birch leaf. We also have the distinct privilege of having one additional type of aspen by our woods, and that is the Big Tooth Aspen. So I'm going to show you the difference between a Big Tooth Aspen leaf and a Trembling Aspen leaf. And again, I have a forest floor carpeted with leaves, so let's find a good representation of the Big Tooth Aspen. And so there is a Big Tooth Aspen, and again, it's a pretty broad leaf. Its height is just a little more than its width, and if we compare that to the Trembling Aspen leaf, I brought one over. So the Trembling Aspen leaf is quite smaller than the Big Tooth Aspen leaf. The Trembling Aspen has little serrations. The Big Tooth Aspen is aptly named. It has big teeth, so it has the bigger serrated edges. And the Big Tooth Aspen is not as broad at the base compared to the height as the Trembling Aspen is. Trembling Aspen on top of the Big Tooth Aspen, you can see that the Trembling Aspen is almost as wide as the Big Tooth Aspen, but it's definitely got a lot less height. So that is our Big Tooth Aspen leaf. So I hope that you enjoyed our look at some leaves today. So we compared the Burr Oak leaf to the red oak leaf, and notice that the Burr Oak is more rounded, the red oak is more pointed. We compared the paper birch and the trembling aspen, and we saw how broad the trembling aspen is and the serrated edges on the paper birch, and that it's a narrower leaf. And then we took a look at the trembling aspen and the big tooth aspen and saw that the trembling aspen is a lot wider for its size than when we compared it to the big tooth aspen, which was only a little wider but much longer than the trembling aspen. I hope you enjoyed this look at some of the leaves in our woods, and I hope that you will get out and explore your area, take a walk, take a look at some of the trees and the leaves. We'll be back again to explore and create soon. And until then, I hope that you continue to explore your world and use your creativity to improve it. And thank you.